Okay, everybody, what is up? Life Advice Live, where you write in and chat about questions you want answered about life problems. It's the live streaming show where we don't always know if we have the right answers for you. We don't always know if we can help, but we are here to listen. If you have any emergency situations such as suicide, mods are ready with hotlines available. Please contact them in such a situation as we try to handle mostly just common everyday life problems. I'm your host of the show, Scott Ackerman. We take questions about anything and everything going on in your life right now, from relationship advice, love advice, to even things like moving to Japan, my specialty. A lot of people are asking me about the new program going on with LAL Japan application. If you have questions about that today, yes, it is totally okay to ask those here. I have one question queued up today already that was actually asked at the end of last show, and I did not. I first want to say hi to everybody in the chat. We've got Ahmed, Ronald, Victoria. How you guys doing? Robachek, I hope I said that right. I apologize if I did not. Ratboy Radicus, welcome back. Mr. Boots, welcome back. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it with the first question we have queued up. The viewer of the show who wrote in about this asked that I only use the first name, so that's all I'm going to do. His name is Nick, very common name, and he says, I'm against cheating in a huge way, but I started seeing this girl and I fell in love with her. Typical sap story, right? Come to find out, she is married, but she swore she is leaving her husband, and I saw the divorce papers myself. But before it was processed, she got pregnant with another one of his kids. She already has 2 boys. And now, even though she wants a life with me, she is scared to leave him for the sake of raising her 3 boys together, since the oldest 2 would be split between the 2 homes. But the baby changes everything. So do I leave her or let this drag out and go with the flow? Like, I can't see her not in my life at this point, but I can't risk being destroyed by this. Well, I think you've kind of already answered your own question there at the very end, where you say, I can't risk being destroyed by this. Nick, I hate to say it, but there is a very good chance you could get destroyed by this. Not just financially and, I guess, spiritually, but you would be maybe crushed by the fact that this woman will eventually break up with you. This woman will eventually cut it off. You've got to think when it comes to a relationship, and this would, I'm saying a man or a woman would do this. They have to think about the relationship in long terms. What is the ends to the means of your relationship? Why are you doing it? Aside from, and forgive the lack of a better word, but aside from being general fuck buddies, okay, there is a reason people are dating, and it is to court, okay? It may be done in a very extravagant way, it may be done in a very sexual and intimate way, and it may be done in a way that's just over the top, madly in love, head over heels. But at the end of the day, all dating is leading to courting each other. All dating is leading to forming some sort of long bond and relationship, and it already sounds like this lady is not interested in that with you, or maybe she's having second thoughts. You say that she says that she's pregnant. This is very convenient. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not sure if she's showing yet. It usually takes a couple months before that happens anyway. But it just seems very convenient that she's suddenly pregnant now when you've asked her to leave her husband. But again, I don't know this person. It could be 100% true. I do understand her battle with the kids. I feel like that holds a lot of couples together, is the kids. That is a very difficult situation to deal with, but at the same time, it shouldn't ever be used as an excuse. Your kids are going to be with you until most likely the age of 18 if this is an American situation. They can be the apple of your eye, and you can take care of them any way possible, with or without that secondary spouse or significant other. As far as you being in the picture, has she even talked about how you would be handling the care of these 2 kids? Would you be taking on financial responsibilities if you continued the relationship? If so, are you able to do that? There just seems like there is way too much at play that hasn't even been touched on yet between this lady and you. And that makes me think that the reason it hasn't been touched on is because she hasn't prepared a future scenario in her mind that has you included. Maybe she's having a great time right now, and you are too. You will find another person, a better person, who has all the same qualities as this lady that you've fallen in love with, whether they be physical or attitude or personality. You will find these all again in a woman without this much baggage. Same goes for vice versa. Women, if you're out there and you found a guy you're madly in love with, but he's already married, you will find that guy again who is not attached or buckled down already. Do not waste your time with this situation. I'm so sorry to be so very harsh and blunt, but advice is always the stuff that we know is true, but we need to hear from a second party, and that's what I'm giving you right now, which you already know is true, because you ended this message with saying, I can't see her leaving her at life at this point, but I can't risk being destroyed by this. Exactly. You've already told yourself, I can't risk being destroyed by this. All right, guys, I'm going to jump into chat real quick and see if there's any more messages. If there are not, I may have to end this very quickly today. I have so much work piled up today. It's insane. All right. He's going. Mr. Boots is great. A great little thing here. He says, Nick's story is my story. I can confirm he is going 200 kilometers an hour into a brick wall of sadness, loneliness, and regrets. Yeah, buddy. I mean, we all haven't been in your exact situation, but we have been in precarious situations in the past in some way or another. And I can tell you, if there is a ton of baggage attached to one side, it makes the relationship entirely unbalanced. And all that happens to you is you end up taking on that baggage as well, so that other person can try and balance the situation. All right. Hey, Alan, thank you for joining as a mod in the chat. I apologize, I have not gotten back to you fast enough. All right. Let's see. Welcome, Ronald. Welcome, Crazy Ash Ketchum. I've seen you before, so welcome back. Thank you for deleting the Robocheck messages. Sorry, Robocheck, if you're still watching. While that might be an interesting subject to you, that is not something I want to dive into again. That has nothing to do with my situation right now. All right. Belgian dude says, can I come to Japan on an internship as a teacher? I'm currently following a professional bachelor's degree as a teacher in the informatics and technology field. I hope I said that right. Secondary school, 12 to 16-year-olds. Okay, Belgian dude, you want to come here just to work an internship? I'm going to be straight up honest with you. If you connect with me personally on a Skype interview, and I judge you to be a pretty level-headed, determined person who's motivated, I would be happy to have you intern at my own school. I mean, it would be an unpaid internship, just like any internship would normally be. But that is definitely very easy for me to offer, because you could even do that on a tourist visa, save that you are not making any money from the internship. One of the biggest laws that you can break is if you pay somebody any kind of money, even if it's under the table while they're here on a tourist visa. I could actually get my company in a ton of trouble for that. But I'd be more than happy to work with you. Number one, getting through all the paperwork to get your tourist visa ready, prepare you for a stay in Osaka. And as long as you would pass an interview with me, I would be happy to have you intern here. So if that's something you would be interested in, Belgian dude, please contact me on Facebook, or actually today. And I'm just going to shout this out to those watching right now. Today, I'm going to be on Skype all day. My name is Unrested on there. I'm giving it out live. I can just block anyone who I don't want to be following me on there. I'm doing all the interviews. Well, not all the interviews. I'm doing as many interviews as I can today. A lot of people have scheduled a ton of stuff. I've got so many scheduled. I'm just pretty much going to keep Skype on until my classes start at 3 p.m. here in Japan. And I'm going to just try and get through as many people as I can today. Even if you just have questions, even if you're like, look, I still don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to apply. I don't know if I want to come to Japan. I have some serious questions, though. I think we can get through a lot more of them a lot faster, have a lot more people very satisfied, especially those who are Patreons. They deserve their stuff answered ASAP and in person by me. And that's what I hope to do today. How long will your offer last? I'm planning on going into boxing and may come back to this in a half a decade to... Whoa, I don't know if I can... I can pretend to look into the crystal ball a decade ahead, but I can't say 100% for sure. This being the first phase, the first trial, the first experiment, I don't want to commit to saying, yeah, this is going to be going for the next 10 years, guys. This may utterly fail. So the person may come over here, crazy things have happened in Japan before. Not to me personally, but I remember I had one friend who worked for JET. He helped bring another teacher over, and the first day she was here, she barricaded herself in her apartment and demanded a ticket home because she hated Japan so much. Apparently, in her defense, she was apparently a very attractive blonde girl and had been harassed by a couple of people on the way to getting to her apartment. That's not overly common in Japan, but it could happen in Tokyo, which is like the big city. It's the equivalent to New York, and in New York, stuff like that happens. Sorry. Something horrible could go wrong like that. I'm not saying it will. It probably won't. But what if it did? Okay, I would have to send the first person home already. I'd probably even have to go out of my way to buy their ticket home, and that would just take a huge chunk out of my own personal funds. But I'm not going to let a person stay here and suffer if they're in that much mental anguish. The project would have been a total failure then. So really, that's why I'm going through Skype interviews first. This is why I'm going through actually multi-layered interviews. I'm sending a questionnaire first. I'm checking what their goals are first. I'm interviewing them in person next, and then I plan to continue to do follow-up interviews and training pre-coming to Japan to make sure they are a legit stable person to come here. And I don't just mean like mentally stable. I mean that they can handle things that go above just being mentally stable, like culture shock, adapting, assimilation, the work environment of Japan. Okay. If unable to catch Scott on Skype, you can leave questions on the FB page, LAL, the Ackerman Experience. Oh, did you make that page already? If you did that, Jade, then my hat's off to you. Happy Father's Day, Scott. Can't say it in chat. I'm baking. No problem, Jilly D. Don't worry about it all. Thank you so much. Jilly D, are you from Canada? I notice people from Canada say Happy Father's Day more than any other country. And I asked about that. And apparently, in Canada, you just say Happy Father's Day to anyone you know in your life that is a father. And I was kind of taken aback, kind of surprised. I don't know if we do that in America. Do we do that? You definitely don't do it. Is this the samurai haircut? Yeah, Mr. Boot. My hair is a freaking mess recently. I need to get it cut desperately, and I have not been able to, I guess, put away the time to do so. And so I'm rocking this because it at least keeps me from looking like I woke up from a nap every 5 minutes. All right. Dude, are you serious? Jade, you are the best. Jade has already set up the site for Life Advice Live. I totally let down my group. I promised to put that together. I did not have it together over the weekend. I spent the weekend just having a good time with my family. I'm not going to make excuses. And they've already put it together for me. I can't thank this team. This team I have of Alan, Ash, and Jenny. I hope I can say all your first names. And Michelle in the chat handling that too. Dude, you guys are awesome. You guys have just been like a total support system for me, and I can't thank you enough, honestly. All right, 3 questions up there. Okay, sorry, I keep skipping. Okay. Victoria Blackman Hay. Oh, sorry, no, it says, hey, Scott, sorry. Victoria Blackman. Hey, Scott, I'm really anxious about school, and I can't relax at all, and I'm on summer vacation. It's a nightmare. Help. Okay, Victoria, I need to know, do you mean college? Do you mean going to college, I guess? So you got to tell me just a couple things because it's very, very vague. What are the things you're feeling the most anxious about? Is it meeting people? Is it homework? Is it school projects? Is it becoming part of the college environment? Just let me know while I follow up with the next one. Would you continue to bring people to Japan in a few years, as I am still currently in school and thinking about doing the JET program, but would totally love to do your program? Armando, thank you so much. Armando the Wanderer, always amazing to donate to the stream. I got you, Tom. You got any dad jokes, Scott? Any dad jokes? All mine are inappropriate for this live stream. I'll tell you off stream. All right. Yeah, the program is going to go as long as it's feasible and as long as, here's the 2 main things. I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. As long as people tend to be medium to highly successful going through this program and it doesn't run into any huge obstacles or roadblocks with immigration or getting jobs, or jobs don't dry up, which they're actually starting to increase as we get closer and closer to the 2020 Olympics, Yes, I would continue to keep this going. The second thing that would totally stop it is if I find I myself am personally losing money over it. Like, for example, in an emergency situation where I'd have to get someone medical care or send them home or whatever, I would still do that out of pocket no matter what, even though I don't have funds set aside for that. Well, I do have funds set aside for that. I don't have funds set aside from that from this program is what I mean. But if that like started to happen 3 or 4 times, and I would have lost a big chunk of change doing this, and it wouldn't be feasible to continue. All right. He was saying hi to Mr. Boots, I believe. Yeah. And yeah, Michelle, I hope you heard my thank you to you. You have been awesome. You have been answering so many questions in chat, not just here, but I notice on every video. And Michelle, that is going above and beyond the Call of Duty. You are awesome. All right. I was upset with how I ended my... Okay, this is following up with Victoria Blackman about her feeling anxious for her return to school after summer. I was really upset with how I ended my sophomore year, and I can't get over it. I didn't fail anything. I just didn't achieve as much as I had. I wish, and it hasn't left my mind. Okay, but again... Wait, did you answer me? Is it sophomore high school, sophomore college? I'm thinking it's probably college, but did you answer me here? Let's see. Okay, Zoyo, I got you next. Okay, I actually know quite a few people in your exact situation, and so I can give you a pretty good answer on this. All right. Anyway, I'm going to assume high school. Okay. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it, Victoria. You don't have to say sorry. It's my fault. I should have said that kind of stuff up front. All right. So Victoria has had a rough sophomore year. Freshman and sophomore year are the most difficult years of high school. I mean, from my own perspective, I know a lot has changed in the 13 years I haven't been at high school. They're the roughest because, number one, you don't get to choose many electives, and you have to take a lot of compulsory classes. If you didn't do as good as you wanted, really, you should not worry too much about that. Things really don't start to take off and take charge until you hit college. If you are getting through, I would say if you're getting through high school, even on a C average, and then you go to community college and then you go to the college of your choice, which they have to accept you if you go through community college first, then you're doing fine. High school is kind of BS right now. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is my own personal philosophy. Feel free to flame me alive in the comments below if you don't believe this. But I feel like high school now is a series of tests, compulsory tests kids have to take. I don't know what it is. It's different in every state. Monthly or yearly or annually or biannually to judge and try and hit certain goals. And all these schools seem to be doing is getting teachers trained to train these kids to pass those tests so they get the maximum amount of government funding. Guys, this is not teaching, all right? This is not learning about life. For you, Victoria, I would say if you're keeping a C average or better, you're doing fine. You could still get into any college you wanted as long as you went to community college first. If you're getting an average high enough to get into any college that you want, then you're doing freaking amazing. On the meantime, don't worry too much about the stuff that you're learning and gathering in high school, unless your high school is just stellar, which, I mean, there is exceptional cases where some high schools are amazing. Try to teach yourself the life lessons that high school skips. Like, for example, balancing a checkbook, all right? Starting a business by yourself. Legally, how you are insured for your car and for your own health and personal safety. How you will set up a trust fund in the future or a hedge fund or a 401k. These things are far more important than any of the stuff school teaches you. Memorizing a bunch of dates for history or where the crop of a grasshopper is not important unless that is your specialty and what you're going to go into. It's important enough that you pass and do well on those tests and get into the school that you want to, but quite frankly, college lacks a lot of life skills. If you feel like you aren't being fulfilled by high school, all right? If you feel like you're not being fully fulfilled, then my advice to you is spend your off time from high school filling up life skills that are important. How to write a resume, how to interview awesome, how to dress fashionably but respectively for work when you start, okay? What kind of charisma and personality do employers want to see when you pop into an interview? These are far more important. And high school doesn't even do one trial interview, and I don't understand why they don't prepare kids or young adults for these lifetime stepping stones. I mean, these are massive parts of our life. So I would say, personally, listen to a lot of self-help stuff. A lot of people are going to call that snake oil, BS. You know what? It is if you don't actively try to do any of the things a lot of these self-help things tell you to do. If you just sit around listening to these all day, they are worthless. But if you actually put a lot of the stuff that these guys talk about or these women talk about in their self-help speeches like TED Talks and things like that, you can actually make a huge difference in your life and be leagues ahead of other young adults in your same situation. So that's my advice if you're feeling not fully fulfilled. Okay, I want to lose weight, but I eat burgers every day. What should I do? Stop eating burgers every day. Problem solved. Mic drop. I'm out. Fuck it. All right. Let's see. What else do we got? I'm trying to apply to a scholarship in Japan and have the exams. Oh, wait. Actually, I want to get back to how transgender are treated in Japan. Give me a second here, guys. This is actually a common question I get that pops up a lot. The LGBTQ plus, is it now? Community actually writes me quite a bit asking about these situations. If the person who wrote that could copy. Oh, here we go. Zoyo, got you. Question for you, Scott. Do you think it would be possible for a transgender person to become a successful English teacher in Japan, be it opening up your own school or working for another one? Okay, I'm going to be 100% frank. Okay, first of all, I have no problem with whatever your gender assignment or, transgender or whatever your personal pronoun is. It's fine. That's something that's totally not important to me at all. I went to art school my whole life. I had tons of LGBT friends. I had tons of transgender friends. I have transgender friends here in Japan. So if I in some way put my foot in my mouth in the way that I talk about these things, just skip over that. Forgive that, okay? We need to get down to the nitty-gritty. Will you be accepted? Let's just get right into that. Will you be accepted? Yes and no. I have one transgender friend who teaches out in the very Inaka, which is like countryside Japan. He made the switch from she to he, and he eventually did leave Japan because he did face a lot of harassment, or a lot of overly personal questions. Let's at least put it that way. I don't want to say straight out harassment because he didn't have any kind of like harassment suit going on or anything. He worked as an ALT at a school, and he did have to make appointments that were like hormone treatment appointments that did sometimes cross paths with his school, and that's how they eventually found out. They're like, why do you got to keep going to the doctor all the time? Well, I got to keep doing these hormone treatments. If I don't, everything will be out of whack. I know exactly. Well, I don't know exactly. I can't put myself in the shoes of the transgender, but I know I have seen my friends who have gone through transitioning and how much not getting your proper hormonal treatments can affect you. He was being affected by this, and so of course he needed to make sure he stuck to this. And they were a little bit harsh on them. And this is because you're dealing with the countryside Japan. Countryside Japan will not take it on as well as, let's say you go to Tokyo. Let's say you go to Osaka. Especially Tokyo. Tokyo is pretty avant-garde and pretty free-thinking. They lean more liberal, of course. You would probably have a much easier time where if you did let everybody know a little bit of personal stuff about like when you need to make a lot of doctor visits and stuff and getting your hormonal treatments, they would be far more accepting of the situation. At the same time, I would say, and I hate to say this, but it's true. I just want to be honest and not sugarcoat anything. If you can keep your situation on the DL, it would be better for you in your career. If you're opening your own school, I would say don't worry about it at all. All right? I would say no, be straight out in the open with everything and every part of who you are, okay? I mean, you don't need to, put flyers out on the street, of course, but like just be confident and be who you are, and don't be afraid to be, as free with it as you want as far as talking to people about it. If it's your own school, your parents will usually accept you. Your students will usually accept you for who you are, especially if it's a Tokyo area. If it's countryside, again, I would say just keep it on lockdown. I hate to say this, but even my gay friends don't talk about it at all. They keep it totally, even if it, and you get bugged a lot as a gaijin. They're like, yo, so you like Japan? You date any Japanese girls? And my gay friends are like, no, I'm just not interested right now, if you know what I mean. And they won't talk about it. And quite frankly, you can say, well, that's not really something I'm comfortable talking about. And they'll respect it right away. They'll actually feel like, oh, shit, I went over the bounds. I shouldn't have done that. you don't have to be overly aggressive or overly strong. Like, that's something I really don't talk about at work. Very politely say that. If you can just go ahead and go to that every time, it'll be better. I wish you didn't. I wish you didn't have to hide anything. I wish our world was far more, free thinking, forward thinking, progressive. I'm not a bleeding heart liberal, all right? I think people should still have their First Amendment right and be able to say whatever the hell they want, even if I don't agree with it. But at the same time, I don't know why we discriminate against how and why people want to be called who and what for a pronoun, or what people intimately do in their own free time outside of school bounds. Why we are concerned with that, why we think that makes anybody different or less human, I don't know. I don't get that. I don't see any difference between whatever your choices in life are that do not affect me. So best of luck to you in that situation. I know it might be rough. Okay. Okay. Silent Hill, welcome back. Oh, I don't know if I've seen this person before. Vaso Perez Likodrick. Okay, so I'm sorry I've missed just about every question that's swam by while I've been answering this. If you could copy and paste any of your questions that I missed right now, that would be super helpful. I'm coming to Japan. Okay, Mr. Booth says, I'm coming to Japan on my own means. Can I still expect some help? Not money-wise, just like how things work there if we meet. I mean, meet. Please don't meet me. Mr. Boots, you're cracking me up, Bo. Yeah, of course. Now, I can't say that I would be able to, leave my job each day and give you some, tours or anything like that. I probably would not have time to do that. A lot of people hit me up on YouTube and say, yo, I'm coming there for a few days, man. Let's grab some drinks and, tour. And I'm like, dude, I would love to. I would love to sit down with damn near every viewer, have a drink, listen to their stories, find out why they came to Japan, show them my favorite places, and get excited by seeing them get excited by them. Just don't have the time. Running almost, it feels like I'm running two businesses right now. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, dude. What I will do is, Mr. Boots, because we have been talking for so long, and I know you beyond just this show, I will give you a lot of my personal contact via Facebook. And you are welcome to stop by the school and get some help if you need it. You are welcome to call me, email me when you get here to Japan. And yes, I will be happy to help you out with any situation. I have actually, behind the scenes, I don't talk about this too much because I don't know how much YouTubers want it out there. There's a few viewers and a few YouTubers when they got here, they called me up and either they were having visa or job problems. And I worked through it with them as much as I could. I didn't always have a solution, but I tried to help. And actually, my God, that has come back to help me tenfold. I've had people do all kinds of amazing things for me. The guy who made my TLC website for me, he offered to do it. I mean, I paid him still. I didn't let him do it for free. I was never going to let him do that. But he did it because I had helped him a little bit with the job situation. I didn't even remember doing it. But, I mean, look how much. That's why I always tell everybody, if you're going to put something out into the world, put something very positive that can constantly help people. If you're at that level in your life where you've got your own stuff in order and taken care of, and you're like, now what? Put something positive out into the world. All right. Yeah, no problem at all, Mr. Boot. Of course, man. What is the deal with fertility rate in Japan, and why are there so many 30-year-old virgins? Guys, this is far more played up in the media than what is really true. The population is declining. People are not having as many babies. And it's not that people don't want to have sex, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about Japan and sex. Japan has just as much sex as any other country does. People have this impression that Japan males are becoming like feminine boys. And, there are some situations, I will say, where many men in Japan are only raised by their moms due to the way Japan works fathers and salarymen nearly to death. I don't think that's a cause for turning men into feminine men. I don't think, show me a study that proves that. I can't just say, yeah, that's what happens. But I will say, even though there's a lot of sex still happening in Japan, a lot of people don't want to have babies. And the thing that Japan continues to avoid is their government wants to say, oh, it's because people aren't having enough sex anymore. No. You know what it is? The government is not providing. The government is not making more kindergartens. Kindergartens are still so filled to the brim, people can't find a place to put their kid in a school, okay? We are getting a lower and lower population, and people still cannot get a place in a school. I'm talking public kindergartens, private kindergartens even, and the government is doing nothing to pick up the pace with building these or even employing government workers to make these possible as far as childcare. So what happens, okay? You've got an environment now where everything's so expensive in Japan that if both people are not working full time, you're not able to afford even the slightest bit of luxury, all right? So the mom wants to keep working, the dad wants to keep working. That's fine, okay? Or I should say the wife and the husband if they don't have the kid. And guess what? They keep doing that and they don't have the kid because if they do, almost like 80% of the time, a mom has to stay home and become a housewife because she can't get her kid into a kindergarten, okay? Japan refuses to look this in the eye, and I'm just going to call them out, okay? On top of it, you've got an entire group of politicians in government house full of multiple the diet is full of multiple parties, just like a ton. None of them do anything to help the youth of this nation, the young adults of this nation, or even the 20 and 30-somethings of this nation. You know who they help first? Old money. They help the old people first. They will rip a kindergarten or a playground out of a local neighborhood just because an old person donated a ton of money to their local politician and complained about that, keeping them up when they try to take their 2 p.m. nap, okay? That's the first thing they will do. They will help those people because money, 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 money. All right. Meanwhile, the youth, the young adults, the 20 to 30-somethings suffer. They don't have kids. They don't want to have kids. Financially can't have kids. And these damn politicians are just like, well, I don't know what the problem is. I guess people aren't having enough sex. Idiots. I hate all politicians. Sorry. Very passionate about that. Scott, my girlfriend is Japanese and is in America with me for high school. After high school, she is going back to Japan. How can I find a way to live with her in Japan? Okay. How do you feel about marriage? Spouse visa is very easy to use to stay in Japan. I don't know if you want to jump into something like that, though, right after high school. Okay. There's a couple different things you could do instead of that. Have you thought about a homestay visa? You could stay with her parents for a while if they're up for that. All right. Your next option is a spouse visa. If you get married, you can stay in Japan indefinitely. They're not going to kick you out of the country unless you, do something horrendous like, import drugs or something. Your other option is to do a farm visa where you work on a farm, but you might be very far away from her. I don't know what country. Oh, no, wait, you said America. That's right. And can't get a working holiday visa, so sorry about that, bud. Your other option is a student visa, all right? Instead of going to college in America, go to college in Japan, get yourself a student visa. You can even have a part-time job on a student visa. All right, there's your options right there. If you need more, hit me up on Facebook. I'm sure I got some more for you. Marry a girl, bro. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. You want the easiest visa ever. Get that spouse visa. Farm visa. You've never heard of that. Farm visa is it's kind of a weird one. You can get a visa to work on a farm that will provide you with room and board and food. I don't think they'll give you any spending cash. If they do, it would be very, very tiny. And you learn how to grow rice. I don't know if that's, or like daikon or some sort of, indigenous, I can't say it, indigenous agriculture to Japan. Okay. That's what a farm visa is. Look into it. I think it's called like farm labor visa or something like that. I don't know. I've never applied to it. I have no experience with it, but it is a very distinct and unique visa. I don't know how long it lasts. I think it varies from country to country. All right. Do programmers have any chance to come to work and stay in Japan? Is Japanese absolutely necessary? I started learning it, but it will last for a long time. I guess you mean like it'll take a long time for you to learn Japanese. Yes and no. Okay, yes and no. Okay. The times where I've seen people get jobs in Japan with zero Japanese and be into programming is when they worked as a civilian for the American government that has military bases in Japan. Those are like a handful of jobs. You're probably not going to land one of those. Not because you aren't a highly skilled guy. You might be. I don't know. But those jobs are just so few and far between. It's hard to get them. Your secondary situation is you need to look for possibly a localization company. If you haven't looked into localization, that's something you need to seriously consider. That needs people who speak some Japanese and some English. All right? Maybe they also need a programmer if they create their own games. The next one you need to look into is, are there any studios that speak English? You would be surprised how many programmers that make video games can easily speak English, because learning a language is almost the same as learning program. Okay? You need these set of rules to say this set of stuff. Okay? Look out Swiri65 in Osaka, the creator of Deadly Premonition. That guy speaks English. I've actually talked to him before and given him some of my art, and he answered me back in English and everything and said, in the future, if we're looking for this kind of art for a scary game, we'll definitely get in contact with you. I think he was just being nice, all right? But I was utterly flattered that I even got to talk to Swiri because that guy is like my hero. But if that exists just for the little bit of chance I took with sending my art, that has to be a possibility for you as a programmer. A far more important skill than my art skill. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to apply to a scholarship in Japan and have the exams and interview in a week. What do you think they want to hear in the interview? Okay. You need to tell them about how you've studied Japanese culture. And you need to talk about how you're ready, even though you will continue to be who you are as a person, you are ready to adapt to and assimilate into the Japanese society, not only just following the way they study or the way they work, but their manners, their politeness, their way of speech. Even if you're doing your speech in the English version, you will follow the way that they handle things. For example, Japanese tend to not say outright, "No, I would never do that." They say, maybe, I don't know. All right? You need to look into that kind of stuff. Tell them you've studied rules that are very important as far as etiquette. For example, you know the rule that you don't use your chopsticks to move a bowl because that's the equivalent to moving bones around at a funeral, okay? You move the urn with the chopsticks that you're given. If you do that at the dinner table, it's considered insanely gross. It's like bringing funeral rituals to the dinner table. Nobody wants to see that, okay? You've studied that stuff. I hope you have. All right? That's the kind of stuff you need to relay to them. Look, I've looked into a lot of this. I know how I need to adapt when I'm out in society, all right? I've learned about my outside face and my inside face, and I know how to use it in Japan. I know to be overly polite. I know that we need to work as a team, and I know I need to agree to work hard and do whatever tasks I'm given, even though I don't think that is actually part of my job. So, for example, if I'm given a teaching job and one of the teachers hands me a broom and says, "Clean this classroom," I don't say, "Hey, I'm a teacher, not a janitor." I clean the classroom, and I don't say, I smile and say, "Yeah, of course, I got this." Okay? That's Japanese style. All right. Work yourself to death, gambare. Yes, that's Japanese style too. Sad but true. All right. Oh, Jake, you're wondering if we're gonna. Okay, Jake, I'm gonna jump on Skype today. I'm probably gonna jump on right after I finish this live stream. I'm gonna try and take as many interviews as I can today. So, Jake, if you are on after I get off this stream, I will be hitting you up today. I know you're waiting with bated breath to have this interview done. I apologize for making you wait so long. Sorry, I needed my weekend, bro. But I'm gonna get with you ASAP. All right. Thank you very much. No, thank you for joining Fedaloco 96. I don't think I've ever seen you on this stream before, so thank you for joining. Not important. Welcome back. Do you get annoyed at times by how indirect Japanese people are, being an American where directness is valued? Yeah, okay. Personally, I get annoyed when being indirect causes miscommunication at work and then work does not get properly done. That's where it really, you want to tell a little white lie and tell the guy who's dressed like a crazy person that, yeah, you look pretty good. All right. I get it. I understand. You don't want to make yourself be in a comfortable, tense situation. All right. But if you want to be indirect and say a maybe to something that needs to be either complied, followed through with, or put to task at work, that screws up work efficiency. And that's where I get pissed off about indirectness. Okay. But the funny thing is there's other things where Japanese are very direct. For example, if you're even slightly overweight, you will get called fat. So I don't know. Like sometimes it's so strange to me. All right. Have I missed any questions? If I have, please copy and paste them now again. I apologize if I have. I'm not trying to skip your question. When I go into these like rant modes or advice modes, I just lose all track of stuff, going by ASAP. Can't keep up with it. All right. And plus my voice is starting to burn out here at the end. Always does when I go this fast for an hour straight. All right. This is a good one. Fedaloco 96. Also, I would like to know if medicines like, oh man, I'm going to mess up this one, levothyroxine are too expensive. Okay, medicines, guys, this is important. I want you to listen very close. If you have any kind of important medicine you need to take while you are in Japan or trying to work a job here or live here, listen very close, okay? Japan is extremely strict on all types of prescription medications. Okay, I mean extremely strict. All right? If you have a medication, for example, a painkiller, Devin, thank you for the $1 donation. You rock, man. Okay? If you have anything that is like a painkiller, what's the other one? Epilepsy medicine, depression medicine, high-level psychiatric medicine, okay? You may need to get your doctor to give you a prescription that you bring to Japan and give to your local physician or general practitioner, and that medicine may need to be sent from your old doctor back in wherever you're from to your new doctor that is your local, and you get it there and pick it up there at their pharmacy. Do not try to send medical grade behind-the-counter drugs through the mail, especially, and this is the craziest thing I've ever seen, when it's not prescribed to you. I understand you hurt your back and your mom just had some hand surgery and she's like, I don't need the pain pills anymore. I'm going to send them to you, son, if you're having a lot of problems there in Japan, because I know you can't get them. And then suddenly you have pills that are painkillers considered a high-level narcotic level whatever, and you've just got them sent to you in the mail. You're a gaijin already, so they're kind of checking you kind of close as your mail's coming in because, let's be honest, Japan is strict as hell, and someone sent you stuff that's not prescribed to you. That's bad news, man. You may get deported for that, all right? I don't want to see that happen to any of you. And if you think that can't happen to you, that happened to the CEO of Toyota from the USA department coming over here. She tried to send herself a bunch of painkillers, all right? She tried to do it via a jewelry box she had sent to herself, all right? They went through it. They found like 54 painkillers in there. That's not good, dude. She got deported. She lost her job. She got fired, all right? I don't want that to happen to any of you. That's why I'm very clear and very frank about these rules. Hello, Scott. I already live in Japan, and I am graduated from art school. All right, congratulations. Currently teaching English. How do I switch from that to making a living off of my art in this country? Ooh, it's going to be hard, bro. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I did, all right? I don't know if this will work for you, and it really depends on the exchange rate, too. Because my Japanese is not stellar, it's, I can get through conversational level Japanese, but if it starts to get high level political or science or business, I start to fall apart. I got a lot of my clients via online networking through the UK and Australia. My specialty was pen and paper RPGs, and a lot of people make those. A bunch of indie ones. For example, Goodman Games gave me a ton of work, a ton of commissions. I eventually had to drop it, though, because unfortunately the exchange rate was just too bad, and I'd have to ask almost double the money to get any kind of commission that was worth my time. I don't know what the exchange rates are right now. I haven't checked in a long time. I haven't dealt in pounds or the Australian dollar. So you want to look into that. Unless of course, if you speak great Japanese, my advice for you, and people, I don't know why people harp on this so much. Find some companies that you're already excited about and draw them free art and send it to them, all right? Go to forums and message boards where indie developers of video games, of RPGs, of, I don't know, whatever would need, fantasy type stuff that would need art, and they're like, dude, I just need, this little bit of art. Do it and do it for free. Get that exposure, okay? Just got a call. Victor, I'm live. Victor's trying to call me while I'm trying to live stream. Victor, please, man. You're killing me, brah. All right. So that's my advice to you. Get that exposure through forums that already deal in art where people either, maybe they write manga, maybe they draw anime, or maybe they, do the writing or the stories for those, but they can't do the art. They're like, I'm a great writer. I love to write. I have all these great ideas. If I just had somebody to work with, do a couple panels for free. See if they like it. Say, would you consider hiring me? Or maybe you do it, it's very small, they publish it, another company sees the publishing, is like, dude, this is awesome, I love this style. They'll contact you, and when they contact you, they almost always contact you with a price in mind. All right, they don't say, hey, I saw you did this for free, you ready to do some more free stuff? Nobody will do that. They'll realize, okay, I like this, and because I like this, I want to pay for it. All right. Blah, 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 blah. As an educator, how do you see ADHD in kids being viewed in Japan? Is it even diagnosed, John A? No, it's not diagnosed very well. They know it exists. Japan realizes that, but sadly, it's not nearly as addressed as it should be. I myself suffer from ADD. I think it's something that should be more addressed in the classroom. The hardest part about this, and it kind of breaks my heart, is as a teacher in Japan, You cannot go and tell a parent if you think their child has ADD or ADHD. Yeah, I don't know. The signal is really bad today. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why. I'm seeing it's like red and yellow. We're back. It's green again. Okay. Well, guys, we're nearing the end anyway. We're almost at an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and log off in just a bit. It's lagging. It's totally my fault. I don't know what happened in the middle. Something probably messed up I've got a lot of issues right now with my internet. I need to get an Airport Express instead of using this crappy Mac Airport. Sorry. Okay. So kids are not being diagnosed. They are, what a lot of parents will do is they'll just avoid taking their kid to any kind of analysis or doctor who can handle such a prognosis. Anybody who can give them any kind of readout on what's going on with their child, even if they're failing in school, they'll just be like, it's just a kid thing. Or they'll take them to the ward office, which has a doctor on hire that'll try to help. And a lot of time these doctors, so that they don't deal with a backlash from the parents being like, my kid is not ADD, they'll say their kid is a gray area, which is, again, very indirect, okay, very vague. It doesn't help, all right? Japan definitely needs to be more progressive with their diagnosis of ADD. They need to attack it head on. It is a real thing. People can be like, no, ADD is not real. Everybody has a little bit of ADD. It's real, all right? And there's methods you can use to get around it. There's methods you can use to make yourself totally work with ADD and even flourish from ADD. But you need to be given the proper set of tools to do so. And Japan, by not diagnosing any of this, is completely robbing these kids of those tools. Does this apply to other learning difficulties? Yeah, sadly, this even applies. I see this happen even with autism. Okay, I see this happen really bad with autism. There is kids we have had who have been like, K3, which is like kindergarten level 3, or the ages of 6 to 7, and parents will just refuse to admit that they have autism. Low spectrum autism. Usually a low spectrum autism kid can still go to school with no problem. They can even be very advanced in some of the things, or monosavant in some of the things that they study. Nonetheless, there's other things that they just don't do. Like, for example, we have many autistic kids at schools I've gone to before where they literally just never, ever keep eyes on the teacher. They'll start playing with toys during class. Okay, this isn't their fault, all right? This is the fault of the parent not taking control of the situation and finding them the proper education that can handle the learning environment that child needs, okay? It's not the teacher's fault either, because that isn't our job to diagnose kids, okay? We are not trained professionals, all right? Nonetheless, we do see signs and we do know when it's happening, okay? If kids, there's a certain way autistic kids or low spectrum autistic kids are, what's the, I can't remember what the other one's called, where it's like very low spectrum but very operational. Anyway, they'll do certain things, like they hold toys very close to them when they play with them, and it's not because they have bad eyesight. They're just viewing it a different way. They'll memorize things that other kids can't memorize, but they'll also forget things that other kids always remember. Like, for example, a daily schedule, a daily series of habits. Those kids never fall into line sometimes, whereas the other kids can do all those, but they can't remember a single English word. Meanwhile, this autistic kid has memorized like an ungodly amount of English cards, English flashcards, and you're just like, holy cow, this kid is smart. Why can't he just learn to go to the bathroom at 12 o'clock like the rest of the kids do every day, and he's still peeing his pants at 3 and 4 years old? All right, you've got to approach this from a different point. We're not given that kind of training as teacher, all right? They need a special environment. And again, the problem that happens is the parents will either, one, straight out refuse to get any kind of diagnosis because they know something's up. And I have had points where there's a 1 and 3 year checkup made compulsory by the government for these parents to take their kid to the government and get a checkup. They will sometimes try to skip these, and the government will have to call our schools and be like, look, you need to tell this parent that they can't continue to go to your school unless they go to this checkup. And so finally they're forced to go and get the diagnosis. But even then, we step into the realm of, oh, your child is a gray area. We're not totally sure. What does that mean? What does that translate to? I don't want to be yelled at by the mom, so I'm just going to be vague. That helps nobody. All right? That helps nobody. All right? And as a teacher, you cannot ever tell a parent, your kid has ADD, your kid has autism. You will get fired, all right? You will get straight fired, all right? First of all, that parent will be like, WTF, what's your problem? You don't know what the hell you're talking about, which really, I mean, we don't have training, so I understand. They'll go to your boss. Your boss will be like, Scott, why would you have told them this kind of information? You know, even if it is true, we can't tell the parent negative things about their kid. You know, get out of here, all right? Positive, positive, positive. There is a point where being too ganky screws things up, okay? All right. All right, guys, I got to call it quits here. We're at an hour. This is usually when I end it. Okay, last question here. I'm going to do this last one. I want to be a DJ in clubs, etc. I heard foreigners make more because of foreign musician image. Is there an artist visa or just a regular work visa? I would say if you are a performing artist, as far as like you play a instrument and you're with a touring band that's well known, there is a possibility to get that. If you're a really highly regarded lounge singer, those people tend to get that artistic visa. If you are a DJ, that is currently a very saturated market here in Japan, especially the areas you would try to do it in, for example, downtown Osaka or Tokyo. While I'm not going to tell you straight out, no, there's no chance, dude, don't do it. If you are a very talented, very highly accomplished, and well-known DJ who can show your clout to any kind of distributor, club manager, etc., then yes, there is a possibility. If not, I would say do your time, get up to that level, and then think about Japan. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and check out here. I need to take a break after this and just drink some water to get my voice back and everything. I'm getting total dry mouth right now. And then I'm going to jump onto Skype, and I'm going to start to take a lot of interviews for the LAL Japan application. Thank you so much to everyone who joined. If I did not get to answer your question today, I apologize. I am so sorry. Please, if you feel comfortable, post your comment or your question in the comments of this video when it goes to a recorded video status. Or go ahead and hit me up on Facebook. If you do hit me up on Facebook, do consider trying YouTube or some other means first. I am just flooded with LAL Japan applications right now, so I might not be able to get to your question on there because these people deserve my time first, just for the fact that a lot of them are Patreons and they are literally paying for some training and stuff that I'm giving them via Skype. Until next time, this has been Life Advice Live, where we do our best to try and answer your questions, and if we can't, we'll at least try to listen. I'm your host, Scott Ackerman. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day. Be good to yourself and spread the love.